Thank you for the very kind introduction. I just wanted to say that speaking alongside Farana, PZ and Nina is extremely intimidating. With the combined experience and expertise in science, law, international politics, public speaking, active atheism from various different cultural perspectives, I felt when preparing this that finding a niche of my own to exploit might prove a little difficult. So instead of attempting to define this talk around my limited expertise, I've opted instead for relating a personal anecdote and my thoughts surrounding it. I've done this for a few reasons. Firstly, as a woman born into a republic, I have a voice and a chance to shape society. Other women are not so lucky. Secondly, as an atheist woman living in a Catholic majority country, voices of minorities, and indeed women, need to be heard. We've come a long way recently, but we still have some way to go before my rights are equal to others. Thirdly, with my own anecdote, I'm the ultimate expert. Lastly, as someone with a science degree, I recognise the wise words of Barry Beierstein when he said, "Anecdotal evidence leads us to conclusions that we wish to be true, not conclusions that are actually true." So consequently, the point of this talk could vanish in a puff of logic at any time. Before I start on the anecdote and the ensuing thoughts, I want to define secular values. So I've put up a slide of a dictionary definition of secular and a dictionary definition of value. The two weren't combined in any medium that I could find, so I put them together myself to say that secular values are moral principles or standards that relate to the present world and are not concerned with religion. With this definition, I went in search of a list of moral values that are reality-based. I found this slide, which isn't very helpful. It's also not exhaustive. I've taken the list of crossing off anything pertaining to religion. That was one down there in the third column. I will not have time to go through them all in the talk. I thought about how I could refine this list honestly without compromising the integrity of the panel topic, secular values in society. I thought about the end goal. Why are we in this room today? Could I have a show of hands if you're here because you care about others and want to make the world a fairer, kinder, more equal and happier place? That's most of you. Thank you. As atheists or skeptics or activists or feminists or simply individuals who care, we are constantly reminded in the news of the injustices people face in the world. As an ex-Catholic, I am particularly sensitive to the harm that unsubstantiated beliefs can cause. I've seen how simply good intentions in the absence of reality can be corrupted to cause real harm. I'm here because I care about people. I'm here because I think people are more important than religious beliefs. And I'm here because Stephen Weinberg's words often play in my ears. Religion is an insult to human dignity. With or without it, you would have good people doing good things and evil people doing evil things, but for good people to do evil things, that takes religion. I'm here because I believe that secularization is a key step in ensuring that by protecting human rights and preventing religious privilege, we can make this a kinder, fairer, more equal and happier place. I believe that the key values from our extensive list that when combined can help us reach our end goal are in no particular order: equality, reason and empathy. So on to matters of an anecdotal nature. A few years back, I was in this pub. I spent a lot of time in pubs. With my then boyfriend and a group of our friends. I drank a few beers. I went to the ladies, as I was wont to do after the critical beer limit had been reached. And there was a poster on the back of the cubicle door that looked a bit like this. It's a poster issued by the Warwickshire Police. I was living in Bedfordshire at the time, giving me advice on how to avoid being a rape victim. I read it out of boredom and lack of choice of alternative material. I rejoined my friends and smiling boyfriend, shaken and slightly chastened, because I had had drink. I had in the past accepted alcohol from strangers. Later on, my boyfriend headed off to the gents, and on his return I asked him if there was any advertising on the wall of the men's that he had noticed. He He said there was a poster for an alcohol pop. I thought about this. I thought about this again recently when a friend of mine posted this slide on Facebook recently. This comprehensive lifestyle advice to women was purported to come from rapists who were interviewed in prison. Rapists see long hair and loose clothing as an invitation. Rapists see women in car parks rummaging for their phones, for their handbags, as vulnerable. Rapists see women in rapists fear umbrellas. Rapists know that keys are no defence. Rapists hide in the back of taxis. Rapists target women applying makeup in parked cars. It is important that women share this advice with all other women they care about, because it could, if you're smart enough to remember it, save lives. This advice could save lives, except it probably won't. It probably won't save lives because it's not based on reality. Snopes reports that the original source was a man teaching a self-defense class who did not interview rapists and got most of his facts wrong. Not just a little bit wrong, but a lot wrong. I want to demonstrate to you why I think that perpetuating these factually vacuous myths can cause real harm. I want to explain to you, using just one example, why I think unsubstantiated beliefs that persist in our societies can damage not just women, but men too. I want to explain to you why, not as Christians, atheists, Muslims, Hindus, Africans, Europeans, Buddhists, men, women, gay, straight, but as people, members of the human race, that I believe the values of equality, reason and empathy have to be cherished and prioritised above beliefs. Let me relate this back to the scenario that could have evolved in the Rose pub to demonstrate why our societies have to evolve. What if I and my boyfriend weren't in that pub that night, but what about if it was a normal girl and a normal boy, both age 16, both on Facebook, both subjects to post like this and this on a regular basis. They both go to the bathroom during the night. The girl sees this poster and the boy sees this. If at first you don't succeed, try it on with your friend. It's an ad for an alcohol pop. They both get a bit drunk. They fancy each other. They kiss in the pub. What is society telling each of them by the messages in the bathroom? The girl is being taught that if she gets drunk and accepts drink from men, she's putting herself in harm's way. She knows she's asking for it. The boy is being taught that girls are expendable objects. They head somewhere quiet and things heat up. At this stage, the girl is uncomfortable, but the boy is soaring. Things continue. The girl says no. The boy doesn't stop. After the rape, both are shocked and disturbed. The girl is crying. The boy is begging for forgiveness because he realizes the magnitude of what he has done. The girl has two options. She can either report the rape or she can stay quiet. From her perspective, she already feels culpable. She was drunk. She was wearing a short skirt. She went out alone with a boy she didn't really know. She ignored the advice on the poster. She knows she was asking for it. She knows that if she did report the rape, many people wouldn't believe her, or if they would. She knows the boy is truly sorry. She knows he's hurting too. People would judge her. People would validate her role in the assault. She knows if she did report it, and if he didn't get convicted, his life would. If he did get convicted, his life would be ruined. She knows if she did report it and he wasn't found guilty, she would be branded a liar. From his perspective, he can see the harm that he has caused and can only ever apologise. If that is enough and the crime doesn't get reported, he can never stand up and admit that he, a decent, kind boy, got carried away and raped a woman. Society hates rapists. Rapists are filthy scum. If she does report the rape, he will be advised by his solicitor and his family to deny it. He will be advised to tell the court that she was drunk. He will be advised that a conviction of rape will follow him around for life. He will be advised that he has to fight against her. He will be told by the well-intentioned friends and loving family that he is a good person and could never be a rapist. Rapists are filthy scum. He is not filthy scum. She is wrong to say he's a rapist. She's a bad person. She was asking for it. Nothing good comes out of either of these scenarios, but the harm has already been done. So how can we, as a secular society that prioritises reason, equality and empathy, make this better, make prevention better than the cure? What if society valued reality and evidence to recognise that statistics suggest that 1 in 100 adults are classified as psychopaths and thus seriously limited in their ability to empathise, but yet more than 4 in 10 women in Ireland have reported some form of sexual abuse or assault in their lifetime, and 70% of those women knew their perpetrator. What if we recognise that just by statistics alone, the majority of people who sexually assault others can empathise? What if we could reach the majority of people who sexually assault others before they hurt someone? Would things have been different for our 2 16-year-olds if this had been the poster in the men's? What if our society could stop moulding the minds of young women to believe that it is their responsibility to avoid rape and start telling young impressionable men that rape hurts the victim and the perpetrator? What if we understood the reasons why men rape women and look for ways to help them adjust their behaviour? What if we could shake off the vestiges of a patriarchal religious control and use empathy, evidence and reality and equality to define a kinder, fairer, secular society for us all, not just in matters of sexual abuse, but also in areas of healthcare, education and legislation? Thank you.